Welcome to the San Antonio FC Fancast. I'm your
Dude, that was weak. That was
weak.
weak.
I mean, it wasn't great.
That's good.
I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't great. It was there.
It had length.
I mean, are we really gonna?
We just have to work on Royce's breath control. It's all right.
We're not off to a good start. This is terrible.
Better than
This is
last
awful.
week.
Yeah, no, at least we got the right intro. That's a fair shout. Nice work, Harry. Speaking of, I'm your host, Royce. This is the San Antonio FC podcast for fans by fans. Good Lord. I am so, we need to reconnoiter this. I am so thrown off right now. Along to host with me in this ridiculousness, Harry. Harry, how are you?
I'm doing well. Full of energy, ready to go. Camp's open. Thanks for the notice, San Antonio FC. But camp is open. We still have no idea preseason or anything like that. But hey, camp is open.
I believe it's the earliest so far, right? So that's nice. Maybe.
Earliest in a few years, at least.
At least in a few years, at least.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's something there.
Because, I mean, like, they've probably opened it around this time, maybe even a little later before, but they would have had a longer preseason just because the season would have started, a few weeks later than it does now. So.
And thanks for allowing me to introduce you before you start speaking. Jonathan, how are you? Jonathan Check of Blue Sky. Blogspot. Go ahead.
Excellent plug there.
I mean, you jumped all over my toes, man. You need to give me a chance. Plug whatever you want. Plug whatever you want.
What it's worth, 99% of people watching this show probably already know me. They know where to find me. If you don't, I mean, it's below all of our faces, so that helps. But yeah, I'm doing fine. Surviving. It's warm in the house, so not gonna go outside if I can help it.
Yeah, I know. I'm in my garage right now, and I got my little personal heater, and it's pretty vital right now because it's cold.
Dude, you bitch more about your garage than anybody I know. Summertime, oh, it's too hot. Wintertime, it's too cold. Come on, man.
Just why? What are we doing here? It's just a complaint about Royce podcast. What the hell?
I was about to say we are beating up on Royce a lot.
Yeah, I know. If I could, I would mute both of y'all right now, and I would allow Rafa to introduce himself. Rafa, how are you coming off your Real Madrid's win against Las Palmas, which is just an absolute traitor move right there? But go ahead.
I think Harry was saying that celebrating a little too early. And then we had scoring 4. Well, really should have been 7, but we'll talk about that at the next time. But just trying to stay warm, getting ready for the ice and snow, whatever the forecast is, and did a couple games, covered Central Catholic and Lee. That was a very entertaining game. So you haven't gone to any high school games, make sure you guys go. Not sure if we're gonna have any Tuesday, Wednesday. We're probably gonna have to wait till Friday and Saturday to check them out.
That's a fair point. For anybody not in the San Antonio area, for anybody listening in the distant past or in the distant future, actually, how do you listen to in the distant past? That's kind of a weird thing. In the distant future, if you're catching up on the show or whatnot, we're expecting snow tomorrow and the following day in San Antonio, Texas. Not a normal thing. And the city's going to completely freak out and shut down, and it's going to be absolute chaos because we do not have the infrastructure to deal with snow, so it's going to be great. Along with us, our last co-host, Matthew Gamez of the FTC, the San Antonio. Gamez, how are you?
Good, just chilling, having a great day. Barbecued a little bit, watched some games. That was about it.
There you go. Did you enjoy the treatment from the refs you got yesterday? Because that was
best MVP.
Awful.
Best MVP.
That was awful, man. Good Lord. That was just embarrassing, man. Just embarrassing. Hey, and the Stars are up 3-0 after getting destroyed by the Avalanche last night. So that's nice. We got that going for us. Hopefully the back-to-back doesn't wear us out. Anyway, continuing. Harry, go ahead and take it away because you have the schedule and you know what's on the docket. Fire away.
Go Avalanche, by the way.
Yeah, shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Go Stars.
Let me see. Here.
After this podcast, Harry and Royce are going to have it out.
Good. Won't be the first time. Won't be the last time.
It won't be the last time.
That's
So
for
I know
sure.
we already tipped it here, but day one, SAFC released some pictures with the Charlie jacket. I think that tends to be the fan favorite so far, from what I've heard. I got to hit the right side here. Some more smiles and the infamous Charlie here. Any thoughts on opening up camp outside of it being early? Any surprises? Any I guess it not much to really say about camp being opened, right?
Still missing some players.
Yeah.
A few.
As far as we know.
Speaking of players, we signed hopefully our backup goalkeeper first, Richard Sanchez, and hopefully nothing against you, guy, but if you're our starter, I got some worries. But per here, and I know this is a horrible way to introduce him, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's his 14th professional season. Richard is a talented keeper with excellent experience. He's a great shot stopper who is strong in both distribution and organization. We're thrilled to have his leadership in the locker room and look forward to welcoming him back to SanAntonio. He had back-to-back clean sheets in his first two starts, which was against Monterey Bay and Oakland. Spent time with Hartford and Memphis, if you look at his stats, unfortunately, they are not great. But began with FC Dallas, so I wonder if that's where he knows Marco from back in 2011. Went to Tigres down in Liga MX, Chicago Fire, Sporting Kansas City, LA Galaxy. For that years, played for Mexico at the U17, U20, U21. Was the goalkeeper for the squad at the 2011 U17 FIFA World Cup, winning Mexico's second title. So, like, if this was 2013, 2014, 2015, I'd probably be a little bit more excited. Rafa, you're our resident goalkeeper. Your thoughts on having Richard Sanchez back?
I think this is more goes to having some experience backup, or start a few games, maybe some cup games, or maybe a game that our keeper needs some rest or whatever. Like I said, he does bring a lot of experience. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, those technical skills have kind of diminished a bit, but like I said, he still has, the experience, so he should help out. I think, we don't want to get caught what happened to us back in 2023. Not have a suitable backup and then wait to the last towards the end of the season to bring someone in. So it's a good signing. I think they're not done yet. I think they have an eye on who they want their number one to be with, and who's to say we don't, who's to say we don't have 2 or maybe 3 keepers, which there is a rumor, which I'm not going to say. I do know about a third keeper, so stay tuned. So I'll just leave it as that.
I mean, are we gonna talk about that, or are we gonna talk about that in SAFC Corner? Is that not a fully confirmed? We're not gonna out the source yet.
We're gonna wait on that. Like
Okay.
I said,
Okay.
Until
Okay.
all the
Little
it's
tease,
signed,
little tease. You see what we did there?
little sign, when it's signed, sealed, and delivered. But I can tell you this: as far as the person, he's won a title. I'm not saying at the professional level yet, but like I said, he does. Like I said, he is playing with a good team right now in the collegiate level, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
And he is a local SanAntonian. I'll add that flavor to it.
Well, geez,
I mean,
guys, you might as
I
well
know you
name
might as
him
well
at this
spell
point.
his name. His
No,
name's
we'll just wait right-
Y'all are bad at teasing. Do you?
It's not Zico
you know,
Bailey,
I'm not
no.
even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Zico
No,
Bailey.
but I mean, for those of you who are not picking up on this, yeah, it's I guess we can allude to it kind of. We're hearing that apparently a former SAFC Academy goalkeeper will be done with college and might be joining SAFC in the summer. So who knows?
It's
Oh,
possible.
And that's all we're
We
gonna
don't
say
know.
about that.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor, and it's probably the same thing as some of the other rumors that I've discussed with you guys, that he's been invited to camp. We also know a couple other players that have also been invited to camp. It's not really something we're going to say, oh, it's a rumor of signing, because they're just invited to camp. Like, you never really know. So that's why we can't really say, yeah, it's definitely, but he's been invited to camp. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
There is another rumor which we'll get to,
good Lord.
So Matt, if the referees will allow you, do you want to say anything about Richard Sanchez?
I mean, I'll just let the season speak for itself. I
hold
really
on.
not.
Personal foul, 15 yards, Houston. We don't know what they did, but it's a 15-yard penalty on the Texans.
Hey,
Oh, go ahead.
That was attempted murder against Patrick Mahomes. Oh my god.
Hey, I take all the heat all day. At the end of the day, a win's a win. That's how I see it. A win's a win. But for as far as for Richard Sanchez, I mean, we just got to see if he gets more, like, I guess, set into the position for this year instead of just getting thrown into it. So maybe get more comfortable with his D line. So just gotta see how it goes.
And I will say this, and I know we're probably being a little. I'll say I'm being a little bit hard on Richard. Let's be honest with you. For goalkeeping, it's all about the defense in front of you. If you have the 2022 defense, he's probably looking pretty good, and we're not, having these critiques of him compared to the leaky defenses that he's had in Memphis and at Hartford. So just to be fair, for that here, obviously he's got quality skills playing in Liga MX and FC Dallas and several MLS teams. So just to be there, but I think the key thing that I took from that was the leadership for that here, in the locker room, to me, and especially if you're going to have, younger players coming in, because this is just me making a an assumption. I think if they're bringing him in, I could see them going a lone path for the goalkeeper from MLS for that here. And I'm not, could be Far, could be Pablo, just tossing it out there here. But there's several. Rocco Novo just got signed with Inter Miami as an example, although I don't think Miami would loan him on a loan.
He played last night.
Yeah, so. But
In preseason.
But to me,
Good say, preseason against Club America, yeah.
But to me, I think this is a way, if you wanted to have a younger goalkeeper come in, having that veteran experience, that leadership in the locker room to go with Juan Lamrid, that secondary coach, on the field could be a key. The other signing
If I may,
for that,
just
go
really,
ahead.
I'm just going to say, because I didn't really get to say much about
I'm
Sanchez,
sorry, my
but,
bad.
I just want to remind everyone, there's been a bit of hate about him here. Let's keep in mind, he came in last year on less than a week's notice, basically, and just had to get dropped into the team. And, it went all right. I don't necessarily remember all the circumstances, but clean sheets in your first two matches, okay, at the very least, you worked well with the defense in front of you. They kind of protected you. You bailed them out if you needed to, all that. Obviously, that third match, 4-0 away to Phoenix, things fell apart, but that was not necessarily his fault. That was just a bad performance from SAFC all around. So
Diego Restrepo's last match was a 4-5-0 match in Phoenix as well. So
something like that, yeah. And former USL goalkeeper of the year, Diego Restrepo. So it happens to the best of them, and like we were just saying, it sometimes does. I don't think. I don't know. You can have a great defense, but occasionally chances are going to slip through. That's when you need a quality keeper to bail you out here and there. But you hope it doesn't happen very often. But I think if you give him a chance to settle in, who knows? He may be better. All this said, I would say, you guys are saying, well, we hope he's the backup. I'm going to say I kind of agree with you, not because of his skills, but just because of his age. All respect to him. He's in his 30s now, so it's not like this is a guy that you could rely on for years to come, or that far into the future. But he can still provide quality and, like you said, some of that experience. And hopefully SAFC brings in someone younger that he can learn from, and that can learn from Juan La Madrid, and that hopefully rounds out this goalkeeping core. You might have some young talent and then some aged experience. A little of everything doesn't hurt. So give him a chance, I guess. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were bringing someone else in. On to the signings.
The other signing is Almir Soto. 1 second here. Marco mentioned Amir is an aggressive ball-winning midfielder who's quick in transition.
There we go. Wow.
And technical in his distribution. We're excited to welcome him to SanAntonio. The 30-year-old midfielder joins SAFC after 10 professional seasons playing in South America and Europe. Soto began his career in 2015 at Independiente Santa Fe, one of the most successful clubs in Colombia. He played 52 matches in 4 seasons, helping the squad to the 2015 Copa Sudamericana and 2 Colombian Superliga championships. So he's had a lot of experience, as well as Argentinian side Nueva Chicago. So we'll start with you, Matt. Any thoughts on Almir Soto? He's going to be more... according to transfer market and positions, he's been more center mid, defensive mid.
I haven't seen any video on him, so I mean, from hearing, I guess from his track record, it sounds very promising. So, like I said, I would have to see video to say to give like a hard verdict, but it's something new, something we haven't had before.
Jonathan, you want to go next, or Rafa?
I guess since I'm still unmuted, I'll go ahead and go. I mean, I think we were saying last week, defensive midfield was one of the weakest positions for SAFC last season. This guy, kind of like Sanchez, has a decade of experience under his belt, mostly in South America, a little bit in Europe, in the Maltese Premier League, I think it was, or whatever their first division is there. So mostly South America, but those leagues down there aren't any slouch. Should compare, I would think, favorably to USL Championship. So brings a lot of experience down there. Will hopefully be, I would think, despite his age, despite him being a little farther along in his career, defensive midfield is typically not, you're not necessarily doing that much running. It's, I think, more about physicality and just your intelligence, your wisdom with the ball and with winning the ball. So I think he'll do just fine as probably, I would think, one of the starters for this team, honestly. I mean, at least as far as who they've got right now, I don't know who else is beating him out for those positions.
Or he's on mute.
You don't think Omar or Nicky Hernandez?
Hernandez, I feel, is more of an 8, and Mohamed Omar, I liked what I saw last year. I'd be interested to see what he's got. He's still relatively young, kind of like we were saying with Sanchez. Hopefully, maybe Mo Omar can learn some from Soto in his decade or so in the game. And yeah, I stand by it. I feel like Soto is probably your favorite defensive midfielder, but I wouldn't be uncomfortable seeing Omar, and hopefully he's able to learn throughout the season.
Rafa?
I think Omar is probably going to be your starter. Soto's going to be your backup. Just to, like I said, I think the goal is to get younger, but you bring in experienced players to help your younger players, and also that way we don't get it caught with our pants down like we did, like Jonathan mentioned last year, putting someone there who's not a 6. So like I said, he has a lot of experience. Playing in South America, playing like I said on the European side. But my thing is if you want to have a young squad, an aggressive squad, if we are going to press, then you put Omar in. Soto's probably be one that he'll probably start maybe some games here and there, depending on some matchups. But like I said, it's a good signing. Like I said, we really need to kind of build around, around that 6, because like I said, things kind of fell apart after Abu left, and we just didn't really recover. So this is the insurance policy. Like I said, and like I said, I want to be surprised we end up signing another 6. It's good to have, at least kind of like a little stable of them just in case, because this is a long season, and last year we were hit by that injury bug. I could see, like I said, I think Nicky Hernandez is more of an attacking. So, but that doesn't mean he can't play back. But I think I'll see him more as an attacking, being part of the attack or playing the 8 or something. So whatever Yamos is going to do. But it's a good signing. We'll see what he does, and we'll welcome coming to the team.
Royce?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that they're obviously prioritizing. Lessons learned from last season, how thin we were at that 6 spot, and I think it's just vital to get that settled. And that's really where it seems that Yamosa is really trying to hone in this squad, is the set up the midfield first, kind of figure everything out from there. And I think that is kind of how it needed to happen, considering exactly what happened last season. Just the midfield was an afterthought, and we got burned for it. And you saw the season that happened. And one of the strongest parts of the team in 2022 was that midfield. So pretty obvious. We need to rebuild it, get some stronger players in there, get some players with some know-how, but can still do the physical stuff. And that's where Soto's hopefully going to come in. And you're also going to have Mohamed Omar there. And you're going to have some other options there in the midfield that are definitely going to help out, and more depth is needed, but it's a really good start, and it's looking like the kind of squad that I'm excited to root on every weekend at Toyota Field.
Anybody else want to comment on Soto? No? Okay. So another rumor that's out here by Mariano Olsen with Olsen Deportes states that Sebastian Osorio is about to join SAFC of the USL Championship, 1-year contract and an option for another. The footballer, son of Juan Carlos Osorio, arrived last night in the southern Texas city to undergo medical examinations. So we cannot confirm how valid or not this is, but it is being reported out there for that here from somebody in Colombia along those lines here. And so far this year, we've had decent success on these reports. Go ahead, Royce.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, mind you, former Mexico national team head coach Juan Carlos Osorio's son,
Who's in Tijuana right now? Coaching Tijuana.
Yeah, he's coaching Tijuana, the Cholos.
Cholos.
So yeah, I got you. I know what I'm talking about, dude. Come on now, give me some credit. Harry number 2. No, but I mean, we'll see what this signing is about. Really seems like going to try to jumpstart his career a bit, try to see if he can find a little renaissance. He's been in the Colombian leagues for a few years. So from what I've seen on other Colombian league fans comment on this, I hope he comes with a strong skill set that'll translate well into the USL Championship. Just leave it at that.
One thing that I was excited about, he was born in New York, so he does not take up an international slot, which to me is huge when it comes to him. According to Transfermarkt, his main position's center midfield, but he does play right and left midfield as well. So we do not know the formation for it here. So, if it's a true 4-3-3, maybe that kind of changes our kind of formations and thinking on how they're molding the team. But to me, when I look at the tactical board, I'm like, we have a lot of midfielders, and I'm like, we still don't have a lot of midfielders. So it just seems like, as far as what we've signed, as far as starters, the midfield seems to be what they've built so far compared to the forwards and the back line. Any thoughts, Rafa, on Juan Sebastian Osorio?
No, his pedigree should be good because he's coming, being related to a current Liga MX head coach. I think, just watching some video from him, he is going to help the central midfield out. And like I said, we need to add depth there. And I think Llamosa's kind of pinpointing that if we can build, like I said, I think he's really building the middle and then kind of out, then we'll work on outwards. But like I said, that's the area that we got pretty much killed last year. So added depth, a player that can come off the bench or start for you, that can pass. Like I said, if you watch his video, he can pass, he can score goals, he can defend. He's gonna, he can play the 6 or he can play the 8. He's just gonna bring a lot to the table, coming this season. And hopefully, like I said, he does well and we extend up another year. Or if we do have to sell him, because he goes somewhere that he can really showcase his talents once he takes care of business here.
So the roster with camp opening has 14 players in, 1 goalkeeper, Richard Sanchez at 31. 1, 2, 3 forwards with Alex Grieve, Jake LaCava, and Juan Agudelo. And then defenders, we've got Blanco, we've got Buckmaster, we've got Tainter, I got Shannon Gomez, although he can play both midfield through there, and Alex Cornelli for that here. And then midfield, Hackinson, Omar, Jorge, Nicky, and the youngster Dimitri Irvoth, or how'd you say that, Royce?
Arofiev. And also
Dimitri.
And you're missing Soto. Arofiev.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that hard to say. You're also missing Soto from that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't add him on. My bad. So for that here,
correct. You are bad.
So there.
Mount.
So that gets part of the business.
Moving right along.
Best 11 time for SanAntonio FC for that here. So
yep. Do we want to go over the previous submittals?
We can do that.
I mean, did you want to go over what Bodo SAFC had?
I didn't have that. Did you?
They had some controversial takes. I'll say that. I don't remember their 11 fully. That's awful. How about work on it, and I'll get it here in a second. Go ahead.
Pro SAFC. Matt, you want to start with yours?
Sure.
Or do we want to start with Royce's Team A?
I'll go Royce.
No,
Come on,
well,
Royce.
we'll do mine. Okay. All
Do it
right.
last. We can do it last.
We can do it last if you want.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll go over my 11. And it's man, let me tell you, I really try to get the best of the best in this list. I know some people are going to go for historic value or best of the best. I went best of the best. So my starting 11 is going to start with my goalkeeper. Bring me one, Jonathan Viscosi. Jonathan Viscosi with 2 appearances in 2019. Jonathan Viscosi, my starting goalkeeper. Starting at left back with 33 appearances during the 2019 and 2020 season, respectively. Bring me the head of Ebby Akon. Ebby Akon, who was injured during the 2019 season and meant that Jack Barnby had to play left back for a few games. Oh boy, that was terrible in 2019. And moving right along, my left-sided center back is one Johnny Fenwick from Newcastle with 3 appearances in the 2019 season. And right beside him is going to line up infamously in San Antonio, Almir Soto with 2 appearances in the 2019 season right before he left the club and signed with somebody else. Moving right along, my starting right back, a very, very popular player in his day, is Milton Palacios. Milton Palacios, former Scorpion and San Antonio FC in the 2016 season, had a few starts over there. Great player, great dude. Actually played pickup soccer with him one time. Kind of weird.
Nice guy.
A very nice guy.
I feel
Awesome
like
guy.
Jonathan's very concerned. I don't know why.
This is like I'm understanding why Royce didn't put his in the spreadsheet, because I'm hearing a lot of this and I'm going, what?
I hope you understand what I'm going for here. All right. My starting 8. Who went to high school in Katy, Texas, and went to the same middle school I went to, ironically. One Fernando Nino with 2 appearances in the 2017 season. Very cool guy. Very cool. He had actually, I think he played in the Greek leagues after he left San Antonio FC in 2017. Beside him, as a number 6, Gianluca Cuomo, who had 6 appearances in the 2018 season. Gianluca Cuomo, one of the taller midfielders we've ever had. And as the attacking midfielder, I have Danny Garcia. Does anybody know the significance of Danny Garcia? Anybody? In the history of San Antonio FC, what is the one significant thing that, well, I won't say the one significant thing, but the record. He has a team record. What team record does Danny Garcia hold? Matthew, do you have an answer? Not at all. Okay.
Oh.
Danny Garcia.
Come on,
had,
Matt. You're letting me down, dude.
I actually
Okay.
don't.
The quickest to get a red card in a game.
no.
No one else? Anyone else? Or should I say it?
Go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
The quickest-
Justin.
First goal at
Quick as
Toyota
they get-
Field.
That's correct. First San Antonio FC goal at Toyota Field. Danny Garcia. That is correct. It was the first goal overall, right? Because Tulsa tied it up later. Or did Tulsa Tulsa scored
it
later,
was,
right?
I think I don't remember when Swope Park scored in that match.
Oh, it was Swope Park. It wasn't
yeah,
Tulsa.
it was
You're
Swope
right.
Park
You're right.
that
You're right.
first
You're right.
season,
right.
and it obviously wasn't the first goal of the season period because that was Jason
Because
Johnson.
Jason Johnson in Seattle,
Yeah.
correct.
Atta
But Danny
Bruce.
Garcia did score the first SAFC goal at
In
Toyota
Toyota
Field.
Field. Yep. That is why he
I
is
got-
my attacking midfielder. And so now for my forwards. With 8 appearances and 3 goals, that is a hell of an exchange. 3 goals and 8 appearances in the 2017 season. Alberto Hassan. Great player, great forward.
Former striker.
Yeah, exactly. And next to him with 19 appearances between the 2017 and 2018 season, Tony Taylor. Tony Taylor. And my final player, this is near and dear to my heart, but it kind of goes with the theme, with 17 appearances and 5 goals, which once again, pretty dang good exchange. 5 goals and 17 appearances in the 2016 inaugural season. Frank the Tank Tayu is my striker. What a guy.
I wanted to put him on my best 11 because I think he had it.
It's legendary, man. Frank the Tank. I mean, when the guy came on the field, Toyota Field exploded that first season. It was unbelievable. Man, that was so great. Anyway, if you can't tell, I was just going for the name a guy who's played for San Antonio FC starting 11. That's what I want.
Didn't he get kicked out?
No, what happened was he played in San Antonio. They signed him to the next season for 2017, but they told him, you've got to rest and you can't play indoor anymore. You're our player. You can't keep playing indoor. And what did he do? He went straight right after the season and started playing indoor again. They're like, yeah, we got to turn it.
He was already playing it. No, he was already playing indoor.
Okay.
And he did not show up to camp.
And
okay, that's when it terminated.
I misunderstood that then.
Yes.
Fair enough. I know it was a contract termination because he went back to indoor. I do know that, but I misunderstood the circumstances.
Yes, he didn't leave indoor. And I'll throw in a super sub, recently retired Jack Lynn, a couple appearances as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
was gonna do.
He retired from the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna do some honorable mentions like Mike Seth. Anybody remember Mike Seth?
Mm-hmm. Colorado Springs.
Absolutely. Obviously Chris Tierpak, I was going to give him a shout. I think he only had 6 appearances with the team in general. But there's a couple others that were there. But those are my favorites, just to kind of, hey, remember when that guy played for the team?
I believe somebody has Chris Tierpak in their list.
Yeah, someone has Tierpak. He played, I think, a fair amount in 2017. It was 2018 that he played the first few matches, and
then he got the red card
in Fresno, and was never seen from again.
Yeah.
Not with SAFC, at least.
Fair shot. And then there was that one time where he was in camp and he tried to make a comeback, and everybody saw the band, and everyone's like, "Holy crap! There's Chris Tierpak. Let's go!" And then it didn't really work out too well. So. Big shout out to those guys. They may not have the biggest impact with San Antonio FC, but they're 100% a big part of the team and a big part of the reason why this team has gone 10 seasons. And man, I'm looking forward to it. And I love each and every one of the players that has played for this team. And just a special shout out to those guys for sure, because without them, it's not a team. And the memories that they brought on the field, I'll never forget. So shout out to them.
I will say Ebi Akon is one of the big mysteries because he signed and he didn't show up. And from all reports here, it had to do with visa issues of him coming back.
Correct.
Coming back because he also tried to sign with San Diego the following year, and there were major delays on that. To me, he was the biggest.
I'm going to say this. Right. I'm going to say this. It's going to be pretty obvious what I'm talking about. But I'm going to give you 2 bits of evidence around his work visa to come back to the States. Number 1, it was in 2018. Who was president during 2018? And what legislation did he famously enact in that to where certain countries, including the one Ebi Akon happens to be from, had more difficulties and more scrutiny getting back to the States? And that's basically why Ebi Akon had a tough time coming back.
Where was he from? Where was he from? I'm being honest. I don't remember.
He's from Western Africa.
Yeah, somewhere in Africa.
Yeah.
For what
Sub-Saharan Western Africa.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I mean, yes, it may have been for what it's worth. He was with SAFC in 2019 and then was supposed to show up again for 20.
Sorry. Yeah, I got
yeah,
the time frame wrong,
so
but yeah, exactly.
I just want to say, like, it was a few years into that administration. I don't know if it would necessarily have been that, especially if they were able to get him here in the first place. Now, for what it's worth, I would assume, would have shown up early enough in 2020 to get here before everything shut down. So that's a little strange.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know exactly what the reason was, but just to clear it up, it was later in that sort of time frame you mentioned.
And he's from Ghana.
He's from Ghana, but at the same rate, like, the ban was still active. Like, it was a part of him coming back, and he went back home during the off season to go visit his family. So
I don't think that would have been one of the countries targeted, though.
All I know is he had visa issues coming back in.
Correct.
Not sure why, or how. But it not only affected the 2020 season. He was signed by San Diego Loyal, and he did not make it back until the 2022 season, along those lines. And it was late in 2022 for that here. So, to me, like I said, Ebby, to me, because his first year, dude could ball. He had some talent, and that's why he's still playing the game. Well, he's with Lexington now. Or he played with Lexington last year. Matt, let's do yours real quick here. Introduce your lineup.
I can't remember it off the top of my head. Do you have the...
I got it here.
Yes. Okay. So yours is goalkeeper, Jordan Farr.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to just list them all off or if you want to expound on it.
You're good, because I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Jordan Farr, Mitchell Tainer, Sebastian Ibiaga, Greg Cochran, Jasser Kamiri, Jorge Hernandez, Rafa Castillo, a mysterious blank spot, Chris Tierpak, Ever Guzman, Sam Adeniran.
Oh, the spot was what? Elizondo, right? Cesar?
Yeah, it was
Cesar Elizondo. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I was supposed to cut it from there to there. So explain yourself. Oh, and then you have PC as the super sub. And then you went as far as honorable mentions. Bobby Mosley, Matt Cardoni, Omar Gordon, Ignacio Maloney, and Justin Dillon. Bobby Mosley, everybody's favorite blonde-headed kid.
Hey, he was great. I met him multiple times in person. So that's why he's the top one for mine. Everyone else, those were the people I remember when you think about it. Were kind of the ones I would always look out for. So one I should have put was Rocket Reed, because of how he's doing being he's a sporting director down in Miami now. So that was, I forgot about that. It just clicked when we were talking about Garcia. But yeah, those are all the ones that to me they probably kept my light on for the team. They're all the ones that I always looked out for.
So I'll go next. To me, the hardest position is goalkeeper, because there's three quality candidates. You got Diego Restrepo, 2017 USL Goalkeeper of the Year, 48 matches, 47 starts, 4,200 minutes. The best, only allowed 48 goals at 1.02 per 90. Save percentage of 78.5. You got the San Antonio legend, Matt Cadarni, at 109 matches played, 107 starts, over 9,500 minutes. Goals allowed at 1.38, save percentage at 70.55 or 7.55. Still has the team lead in wins at 47, 25, and 35. Jordan Farr, I did not have on the list, but when I look at his number, 2022 Goalkeeper of the Year, championship, 59 starts, 5,200, almost 5,300 minutes. Goals allowed average of 0.87, save percentage of 73.3, a record of 33, 16, 10, and a clean sheet percentage of 40.7. My initial was Restrepo. Just because I thought between him and Matt that Restrepo was the overall better goalkeeper as far as talent, career, along those lines. But when you look at the actual numbers, I got to give it to Farr as far as for my goalkeeper for that here. Just looking at the pure numbers, the value that he brought.
Time out. So we're going to say that Diego Restrepo and Jordan Farr were better than Dane St. Clair?
As far as SanAntonio,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
You got to have more than 5 matches. How do you not have Dane St. Clair on your lineup there, Buster?
Exactly.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Because Viscosi had 2 appearances, the Dane St. Clair's 5.
Yeah, but Dane St. Clair at least had talent.
You know, Royce, if you took your lineup seriously, maybe we wouldn't be having this debate.
I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't put St. Clair, because just 5 appearances. Now, if he did maybe half a season or 3/4 of a season, I think, okay, I think it would have been different. But 5 games, you know, but as far as quality, yeah, he's probably the best keeper that we've ever had. You know,
but it was only 5 matches.
It's only, yeah.
But in terms of best, I mean, we obviously all had different philosophies for this, but mine, for example, was sort of the best to wear the SAFC shirt. Doesn't matter, you know, we could have had Pele playing for SAFC. If he was here for like 2-3 matches, okay, those were nice, but like over the course of a few seasons, you know, what did he give to us? Not much. It doesn't matter to me. So again, it just depends on the different philosophies we had, I guess.
So defense, Tainer, pretty Mr. SanAntonio. 2022 USL Defender of the Year. Sebastian Igabaga, 2017 USL Defender of the Year. Carter Manley. The reason why he's on the list, not only because he's a great human, great realtor, he scored the winning goal against Austin FC in the freaking U.S. Open Cup.
Hell yeah.
Thank it.
I knew
Hell
that's what you were
yeah.
going to say.
Love me some Carter Manley. It's my guy.
And then I put PC just because he kind of played in between midfield.
He kind of turned into
back.
Mr. SAFC there for a bit, where, man, one of my favorite memories of going to the STM preseason match, which I will always say go to. They've kind of turned it into a fun and games thing now, but back when it was an actual match that you went to, one of my favorite things, and this was in the 2019 season, Ebby Akon was playing left back, and he kept going too far forward and leaving space behind him. And PC yelled at him so loud that it echoed. And because I was during the STM preseason match, they only have the like section 100 to 110 open. So his screaming echoed off the awning and right back down to the field, yelling at Ebby. I was like, damn, okay. There's your leader right there. There's no question who's the general on the field right now. And that was the first time that I was ever reminded of Rafa Castillo being on the damn field, because that's exactly what he would do. Mm-hmm. He would yell at everybody, the ref included. He would yell at everybody on the field. And those are 2 big salute to those 2, Mr. SAFC. When I think SAFC, Rafa Castillo and PC are right up there with anybody.
So my midfielders, I have Jorge, obvious choice. Rafa. I got Billy Forbes as a midfielder.
Absolutely. BF7.
And
hell yeah.
Michael Reed. I went with the original captain. Like I said, I know his time. He had 41 match played, 38 starts, almost 3,300 minutes. 9 goals and between 9 goals and assists between there, but I went with him. Forward, I went with Playoff Patino just because the value that he brings, and I went with Ever Guzman. Like I said, I know Tani, I know Big Sam.
Yeah.
because I originally had Sam, but the more I looked into Guzman's and what he meant to San Antonio, in my opinion, he was our first real authentic forward here.
Yeah.
61 matches, 41 starts, 3,800 minutes, 28 goals between goals and assists. Some of the quickest goals in SAFC history and even USL history for that here. Super sub, I went with Adeniran and Jose Gallegos for that here. And then honorable mentions, Cochran, Gomez, Matsi Rodriguez. I know he didn't get a lot of time here, but just from the start and being a local kid for that here. Pirano, and then you got to include the first goal scorer, Jason Johnson, scored a brace. Jonathan, you don't like it. I'm hurt.
You said you got to include the first goal scorer. That sounds like a Royce pick right there.
Sure.
And then head coach Marcina, assistant coach. I went Nick Evans, and sporting director. I don't know why Rafa wanted sporting director. I think we're all going to go Tim Holt because Marcina hasn't really done anything as of yet for that here. I do think Coach Powell deserves a lot of credit.
100%.
Like I said, Marcina got a title. Go ahead.
I will just say, for what it's worth, by default, I think Ferruzzi has to be your best sporting director because Tim Holt was managing director. He was kind of overseeing a different kind of larger umbrella of things. Just saying. I don't know why we put that position there. It's silly.
Ask Rafa, dude. I know.
I'm not afraid to tell Rafa it's a little silly. But
hey, it sounds a little personal. I'm not gonna lie.
The assistant coach, I think, is pretty valid, but head coach and the sporting director, I'm like,
there are some that maybe do favor Coach Powell. You know,
how he didn't win a title.
I know.
He won the first playoff match in San Antonio FC history. You know, he set the bar pretty damn high.
He didn't bang the drum.
He set the bar pretty damn high for the next coach to come in and the success that we expected. I think.
But people are gonna judge as far as the style of play. That's where it comes to that. You know, here's more of the possession. Mercy was more of the direct. A lot of the fans out there are gonna favor one or the other as far as the styles. You know, like I said, the jury's out to right now is what we're going to see with Yamosa. You know, maybe he ends up being the favorite because the way we play. So, and that's why it was, put on there, because like I said, there are some people out there that do favor his style of play, which, we're going to see, this season, even though he's a sporting director for Lexington, he's still installing that play with their team.
So Stewart started. He went Cardoni, Igabaga, Tainer, Maloney, and PC. So good start. But that's who he went, at least at the start here. J-Check, what's yours? I don't think we've got yours. And then we'll do Rafa, and then we'll do Royce's. I'm assuming Royce has a real one here since he mentioned that.
Sure.
That was his little tease or bit lineup here that he got wrong without Dane St. Clair, but that's a whole nother discussion.
No, like I said, Dane St. Clair, 5 appearances. Jonathan Viscosi,
that was
2.
too many for you.
I mean, disqualified him, absolutely. Way too. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Okay, so first of all, just kind of building off of Stewart's, I think that's the first one of us, at least that we've gone through, that said Maloney. That kind of surprised me. But anyway, going from the top with me, Jordan Farr, we've kind of already discussed it. I think Restrepo was also in the mix. I think, I don't know. It's tough to pick between the two of them because obviously 2 USL goalkeepers of the year, 2 guys who had really solid years. Their first, Farr technically came in for the playoffs, which is an interesting story. But their first full year with SAFC in both cases were phenomenal years. Could really trust the defense in front of them. And then the year after, some of the cracks started to show, with particularly with Restrepo. I think he couldn't rely on that defense in front of him more. So he was trying to get out from his box more and overextended himself on a number of occasions. So, not entirely his fault there. And then with Farr, just kind of some cracks appeared, some odd mistakes. And we all know how that 2023 season ended, where Farr was just on the bench. So kind of weird there. But I mean, Jordan's the one that got you a championship. He's the one that I believe earlier in that season, when the defense did let something through, Farr was able to make some phenomenal saves to preserve points for SAFC. Building off of that, Connor Maloney, he was a versatile player. He was a reliable player. He's kind of an interesting guy because he's not the most, at least in terms of height, you look at him and you're like, okay, he's kind of a smaller guy, but he was built like a tank. I mean, if the guy is even just 6 inches taller, I think he's got a fair shot at being a bouncer at a club somewhere. Guy could grapple with the best of them, was really strong. Great leader too. So not too difficult for me to have chosen him there. I think he was a pretty easy pick. Sebastian Ibiaga, this is a bit more of a throwback to the 2017 season where SAFC brought him in. He was the rock of that defense. The first time that SAFC really just had a fantastic defense like that. Obviously, 5 or so years later, they would emulate that again. But he was the original sort of rock at the center of defense. And he went on, obviously, to have a solid career in MLS with New York City FC, won a title a couple years ago with LAFC and moved to FC Dallas. Mitch Tanner, I mean, that one, he is still at the club, obviously, and he's been with SAFC for the good part of 5 seasons now, almost, except for a little bit in 2021. He's been reliable. He's scored some important goals and provided some headed assists when he needed to. So I don't think people are going to argue much with that one. PC, similar reasons, great leader. Actually, kind of similar to Maloney, great leader, and was very, well, not very, but fairly versatile. He was able to cover a few different positions, moved around to do some of the dirty work the team needed him to do. Mohamed Abu came in 2021, really stabilized that season, actually with PC being out injured for a bit. And the rest is history. We know in 2022 especially, he was just a rock in defensive midfield there. SAFC and its defense and goalkeeper had a lot less to deal with because of the work he would do, the way he would sweep up. And now getting to some of the more attacking players. I think one person may have already chosen that. No, I think it was for an honorable mention, but Christian Pirano. He was at one point the USL's Young Player of the Year. He made the move to Portugal, never quite was able to break through there, but even when he came back to SanAntonio FC, he had some great moments, kind of fell out of favor toward the end, 2023, I believe it was, unfortunately for him. But there were times when he was just on another level with SAFC, was fantastic at dribbling around, creating chances for other players. He was, I guess maybe not necessarily the original, because that would be the next player, but he was really good at setting up his teammates farther forward or, playing alongside him. But the original kind of guy in the midfield who was creating chances and also taking them himself, Rafa Castillo, guy who was a holdover from the Scorpions, obviously, sort of saw out his career here in SanAntonio, and they got a good 4 years out of him, I think, even. I think they decided in that 2019 season, you know what, you've still kind of got it. We could still use you. How'd you like to come back? And so he really had a great end to his career here, I'd say. He was always reliable. Like I said, largely for the chances he'd create, but also he wasn't afraid to step forward and take him himself. Jorge Hernandez, this shouldn't really be a controversial pick. Even last season when SAFC had all of its struggles, didn't have the players to finish chances, Jorge is one of the best in the league, not even just currently, but historically, I'd say, at creating these chances, picking these passes out, making his teammates farther forward look brilliant, because he'll put it into the right spot. And if you've got to finish, that's all it takes. Jorge will make your job very easy as a striker. And speaking of the strikers, I'll name both of them at once. Taniolo Wishay, it's kind of hard not to pick the guy who has the record for goals in a season, even though he was just here on loan. He came in a month or two into the season, scored, what was it, 17, 19 goals, something like that. 3 hat tricks in there. So at times he scored them in bunches, but when you played balls through, particularly Jorge Hernandez, he was able to finish them off. He had the cleverness in the final third to find space and finish chances. And finally, Santiago Patino. I know you guys say, oh, playoff Patino, but even in the regular season, he was one of the most clinical finishers SAFC had. As the late Tim Hankinson would say, he was El Raton, searching for the cheese in the box. He had a sense for where the ball was going to drop. And he was always ready to react. He was ready to hold his run if he needed to. He would sniff out those chances, and he was really good at finishing them. If you look at his conversion rate and all that, he is certainly one of the best forwards SAFC has ever had. Injuries obviously kind of hindered him at times, but when the moment came, he was there, he delivered. Everyone remembers that 2022 final, and it's no mistake that he was the MVP of that match. Unlike the rest of you guys, I didn't do any sort of honorable mentions or bench or anything. We said best 11. I'm not going to overcomplicate it by adding other names into the mix. It hurt me to cut some of the names, particularly some of the names that we've already mentioned here, but I stuck to 11. That's that.
It's because you're a rule follower, man.
Yeah. I'm not a lawless person like the rest of you.
Rules were meant to be broken.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are we talking about here?
Rafa
Buddy,
Royce, who wants to go next?
Go ahead, Rafa.
Okay. So my picks, like I said, I went with, as far as goalkeeper, like I said, it was coming down to Jordan Farr and Restrepo. Like I said, I just went with more as far as technical play, quality, and I went with Restrepo. You know, it was just like a little slight edge over Jordan. Like I said, Jordan was goalkeeper of the year. He won us a championship. But I think Diego just had a little more. And I bet you if we had him for the championship season, if he had that defense, yeah, he'd I guess we'd winning that title as well. The defense. So actually, out of the 4, I went with 3 of our championship. I think Tainer, Carter Manley, Connor Maloney. I know we're missing another one, but really those 3 are the ones that really kind of anchored that defense, you know, to help us win that title, especially since we won a lot of those close 1-0 games and so forth. You know, they're very reliable. They're, you know, you can tell that with the play, the hustle, and so forth, the passion they had. So that's why they had them on there. And then another defender, I went a little old school, Greg Cochran, great defender. You know, he's, like I said, what else more can you say about him? Midfield, I went with Rafa Castillo. The one thing I think we forget about Rafa Castillo, and we've kind of been lacking lately, well, up to where Jorge is right now. You know, we're missing someone who can take free kicks from outside, and you know, a lot of the goals he scored.
I thought you were going to say someone to take a yellow card for the team whenever the other team's about to get an attack, because that's what I think. Rafa Castillo, yeah. You know, look, his set pieces. You know, that's, you know, he had some very deadly goals. You know, throughout. You know, he's playing with us, and then PC. What you can say about PC? You know, I know he missed a lot last few games of the title, but the thing is, he was the bulldog of the team. You didn't mess with him, you know, and he was our little muscle there.
And yeah, he got a bunch of yellow cards, but hey, they were just a foul away anyways, and he was there to intimidate you. And like I said, he was also our captain, and that's what that's what we needed that season. It sucks that he got hurt towards the end, because honestly, had he played, we would have shut out everybody because of his tenacity. And then also on the midfield, I had Jorge Hernandez. What can you say? Jorge's just a rising star, and looking forward to see what he does this coming season. My kind of attacking mid / forward, Christian Pirano, like I said, great impact his first year. And like I said, things that like I mentioned didn't work out in Portugal, but when he did come back here, I think that was we needed that little extra oomph towards the back end of that championship season, that little spark, and I think that helped us really get things going and get us, have the momentum to win the title. And then forwards, it was tough, as far as the forwards, because we've had some good quality forwards, but I went with Tane Luashi and Sam Adederin. Those two, especially when they play together, those two are those are the two deadliest forwards as far as the USO has seen. It was like a 1-2 punch. I know Patino, like I said, he's done great. He was kind of like the Mr. October, but he's a great finisher. But when you had those two up front, they just caused a lot of chaos, and teams just couldn't handle them. And like I said, I'm glad they're having success in MLS and in Europe. Super subs, like I said, I went with Patino. Like I said, his impact when he came in, especially like I remember he came in late on the championship season, and it's kind of the same thing with Pirano. He kind of give us an extra spark to kind of get things going. And then Jose Gallegos, what can you say? The kind of the product son. He's doing well there in Europe. Came up from the academy. I guess you can say he's the biggest success story we had for the SAFC Academy so far. And like I said, hopefully we'll have some more future Jose Gallegos in the near future. And then honorable mentions, I put Nathan Fogata. Nathan had an impact with us. Great player. He did a lot of great things with his two stints here with us. Abu, what can you say about Mohamed Abu? He kind of picked up the slack when PC went down. We kind of panicked, but you know what? Abu picked it up, and that's where he kind of got that little legendary status there. Because remember, he came off from a tryout too. Remember it's like who the heck is that? We weren't sure who he was, and I think he was like a diamond in the rough that we were able to get. And look at the impact that he had with us. And then I have Cesar Elizondo, like I said, going to old school. I think he's one of the cornerstones from SA, kind of like the building for SAFC. Also great impact in the community. And then Ever Guzman, like I said, one of our many leading scorers that won the league, like I said, the career he had. And then the last, Matt Cardoni, like I said, another cornerstone. The stuff he did, like I said, especially that time when he got, when they brought in Jordan Farr, and he could have been the starter about that, but once he complained, he was a team player, and when he was needed, he took care of business. Honestly, think that he could have done a little bit more things. I think if given more opportunities, but I'm glad he's having success in the law school, and maybe, like I said, hopefully we'll get to see him sometime this season as well.
That's fair enough. And for my official starting 11, not just my remember a guy starting 11. In goal, obviously, Matt Cardoni. I mean, Mr. SanAntonio FC, San Antonio native himself. What are you going to say? Longest tenured player until Mitch Tainer came along, and Mitch Tainer is also in my starting 11. Also, Mr. SanAntonio FC is kind of taking the reins of that. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? My starting left back is Greg Cochran, the original Iron Man, Man, just a San Antonio FC legend in his career, and once again, the club wouldn't be the same without him. My right-sided center back is Ryan Rochandle, and for multiple reasons, after his career was over, he stayed on as the academy coach and really just kind of embodied San Antonio FC and built a culture up. There, if you remember, that one of the more famous goals in San Antonio FC history is his goal, his last minute goal to clinch a playoff spot, and all of the academy kids were there, so we got to go celebrate the goal with the academy kids on the sideline. One of the coolest moments that the club has ever had, and it was, just unforgettable. And Ryan Rochandle really had a big hand in setting up San Antonio FC for, the club that it is now. And my right back, I have Connor Maloney. Throughout his career, he's been right back or left back as we needed him. Man, Connor Maloney kind of embodied every single thing that Greg Cochran was, and really the team hasn't been the same since he retired. So big shout out to Connor Maloney there. Another player who really helped kind of set standards. I see them kind of as the exact same player, ironically enough. Both won titles with the city, won titles for San Antonio FC. And in my midfield, I have PC and Rafa Castillo. The two generals, like I said, they're the two guys that you would hear yelling constantly, who would set the standard for the team and would lead by example and lead by yelling at you and scolding you when you did something wrong. So absolutely, PC and Rafa, two legends of San Antonio FC. In front of them, as the 10, I kind of have two players there in the midfield. I went with a 4-2-2-2, kind of a la the New York Red Bull formation. I have as Rafa said, I have Jose Gallegos, probably the biggest success story for the San Antonio FC. He's still playing top flight in Denmark. Like, he's in Europe playing on a top flight league. Is he getting a lot of minutes right now? No, not really. But at the same rate, he's still on the damn squad. He got them promoted. Like, what are you going to say? He's one of the best players we've had, and he's a product of our city and of our club. So that's a huge success story. And next to him, the other star boy of our club, Christian Pirano. He's just, it's just one of those really good stories of a kid that nobody really wanted to give a chance, and then he just ended up being the best player, the best young player in the league for a season, and just won a title with the team, and it's just unbelievable. Christian Pirano was just great and kind of embodies everything that San Antonio FC is. And my two forwards that I have, Ever Guzman. What are you going to say about Chino? Has more appearances than Sam Adeniran and Tani Oluwaseyi combined. A lot of memorable goals, and he was that first San Antonio FC striker that you can trust would put the damn ball in the net when it came to his feet in the box. First guy you can trust to take a penalty and bury it into a corner. So really set the standard high for forwards like Sam Adeniran, like Tani Oluwaseyi, and Ever Guzman was great, man. And next to him, kind of the other guy that I think of as an SAFC striker, Sandy Patino. What am I going to say? Just look at his work in the final against Louisville. Unbelievable. And his work just throughout his career. He's kind of that player that you really want to look for in USL Championship, where he has the talent to be MLS. He has the talent to play for a lot of leagues throughout the world. He just could not stay healthy. And he really needed a mental break. He needed a change of scenery. He got that. He got the leadership from Alan Marcina and really turned his career around. And now he's a jet setter going around the world, scoring goals for whatever club he plays for, and just doing what Santi Patino does. And that's visiting whatever the hell beach he wants to visit and just chilling out with his mate mug. So, but that's my starting 11. There's plenty of shout outs that I could go over. Stephen McCarthy, one of my favorite personalities of San Antonio FC history. One of my favorite podcasts that has anything to do with San Antonio FC. No, it's not one of our episodes. It's back when San Antonio FC was doing Behind the Stripes with Preston Petrie and Lou. But they interviewed Stephen McCarthy and they kind of asked him about some of the stories he can remember. And that is such a great episode. Really shows his personality and just, another great career that was just cut short because of concussions, unfortunately. And then obviously the Rocket Reed, Michael Reed, really set a good standard for that midfield. Pekka is another one that's worth mentioning. A really great 6 that we had. Man, I can go on and on with great players that we've had. Even Darnell King. Darnell King was a great right back we had. Ben Noonan for one season that we had. He was unbelievable. We've had a lot of really good players. It's crazy that it's been 10 years. It's crazy the memories that we still have of this club, and here's to another 10 years. Absolutely.
Are you done?
I'm done.
I think everyone's done now.
How does the president of the Juan Agudelo fan club does not list him? Not even in the honorable mention.
Yeah. Hey, nah, I'm going after you for that too.
I mean, if you want to go like talent level of players, kind of like Jonathan did, he's got to be up there for sure. But at the same rate, like he doesn't have the appearances. A lot of my starting 11 was based on appearances and stats. If I wanted to go with just like my sentimental favorites, Juan Agudelo is, one of the first U.S. national team players. I believe he is the first U.S. national team player to play for San Antonio FC. So that's a big thing for me. The U.S. men's national team, that's my favorite team. That has always been my favorite team. That's what really got me into soccer. Every 4 years, I always look forward to the World Cup. And now the city that I love has a team, and that started, that obviously started with the Scorpions, but has been continued with the 10 years of SAFC. And that's my team. So, I mean, what am I going to tell you? Whenever those two worlds combine, U.S. men's national team with San Antonio FC, that's
Sorry,
a
man, I had
perfect.
to bust
No,
your
you're
top.
good. No, you're good.
I
That's a
asked you if you
perfect point.
Final thoughts here. I'll start, and then we'll go Matt, Rafa, Jonathan, and Royce will get us out. It's supposed to be cold. You have pets, please bring them in. Put them in the garage. Put them in someplace where they're going to be sheltered because it's going to be super, super cold, and it's going to be moisture in the air. Please bring them in. Take them out. Let them do their 15, 20 minutes of run around for potties and eating and water and that type of stuff. But for the next couple of days, please bring them in. We don't need you to be like an old radio host in town that left theirs outside during a storm.
That's so unfortunate.
Oh, man. It's funny how I know who you're talking about.
So as a barber, I like to show it is every stages of beard growth. So I wish mine would grow on a little bit better, a little bit darker like Royce's. But
to add to Harry's plead, it is a $3,000 fine going out there right now. Just letting you know.
Hey, and I don't know if you can talk about this, Matt. Anything from the city that that they're doing or anything
that I'm aware of? I'm just praying not to go to work until Thursday.
No, they have. There's definitely what do they call them?
Warming shelters.
Yeah, warming shelters. Thank you. That's the word that I wanted. There's definitely warming shelters around. Most government buildings are libraries and a bunch of.
It's the
of other
community
government-
centers,
Yeah,
some
community
And
centers.
they'll probably be
then-
salting the overpasses and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
and for sure the convention center is going to be a warming center as well.
so just please be
Absolutely.
careful. If you're gonna get food, and if you haven't already, go get it tomorrow early. You don't want to be out on the road Thursday, and there's no guarantee if the roads are bad that HEB will be open for that here, because let's be honest, San Antonio doesn't have the best record in rain, let alone icy conditions for that here. So please prepare. Make sure if the power does go off, you've got flashlights, your stuff's charged, all that fun stuff. Go on, Rafa.
Just final thought. Like I said, everybody be safe out there. Make sure cover your pipes and keep your pets in. And then as far as this week, I think from Coach Cano, there is a possibility a lot of the high school games will be canceled for Tuesday, maybe possibly Wednesday is still iffy. We'll find out more, so stay tuned. So make sure you follow 50/50 Podcast and SanAntonio Roundtable for updates for high school games. And I'll be on tomorrow with them tomorrow. So I'll be premiering the new and updated, often imitated, never duplicated RPIs statewide. Lots of changes. Our best Dark Horse, game balls, team of the week. It's all going to be there. I think we'll be on about 4 o'clock tomorrow. But just stay warm, and hopefully we'll get sign some players this week. So we have something to talk about as well.
Well, I guess just to balance things out a bit, I would say yes. I hope everyone stays warm, but also at the same time, stay cool. Be an awesome person.
Wow.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, everyone. Hopefully, I mean, it's been about a day so far. Power's still on. That's a good sign. You never know here in Texas, but we've managed to keep the lights on the last few years, unlike that time in 2021. Hopefully, that never happens again. But now, at the very least, we are prepared. We've dealt with it before. We kind of understand, okay, well, if you don't have power for a few hours, how many jackets can you put on at the same time? But yeah, so at the same time, we haven't really discussed SAFC much in these final thoughts, but now that apparently the preseason has started, we, as the media or anyone, we haven't been invited out yet. Might have been kind of nice to get that first media availability in before this weather, but beggars can't be choosers. Hopefully they do it. If they do it this week, please Thursday or ideally Friday. I hope you're listening, Morgan. But yeah, I mean, even if we haven't gotten a chance to go out there and see it yet, the wheels are turning behind the scenes. So we need to get into preseason mode. All of us, not just the team, but us as podcasters, the media, and fans, obviously. It's starting up again. Here we go.
Royce?
Yeah, I think I just wanted to bring some attention to a GoFundMe that's been posted for a Jason Alviades, Jason Jeison, Alviades, Alviades. He is a referee in California, and he refs UPSL Division 1. He was attacked by a player from OC Kings, and this resulted in an orbital fracture. So broke the bone that surrounds broke the bone of his skull that surrounds his eye, and a retinal detachment. So he will be out of work for 3 to 5 months minimum during his recovery. And right now his GoFundMe is at $13,470 out of the $15,000 goal for medical bills, and also other expenses, it says right here, I'll read the full transcript. It says, my name is Jason Alviades. I've been a referee for many years in Southern California. Last November 3rd, so mind you, this is a couple months ago, but what better time than now to bring it up? I received a treacherous criminal blow from a player of the OC Kings team of the UPSL Division 1 League. I had a double fracture of my left eye orbital bone with possible retinal detachment. It will be 3 to 5 months without being able to perform strong activities, and I come to you in order to receive support for this unforeseen event. I need the support of all of you in this difficult moment. The funds will be used to cover medical expenses that have currently been covered by myself. I haven't had any support from any parties involved. So if you can help him get to his goal, that would be great. Horrible event, and just a reminder, man, the referees are trying to, nobody's perfect. The players definitely are perfect, or else every game would be 10-0. Referees are trying just as well. I've really tried to make a note of it during games to not get on the ref too much, because hey, they're trying to, and sometimes you do have to just overcome some decisions by the ref as a player. So refs aren't the enemy. They're trying hard too. They love the game just as much as you and I do. This is a horrible, unnecessary act, heinous act, and this crap needs to get taken out of the sport just completely. And it's embarrassing, and I just hope that Jason recovers fully from this and quicker than expected. So that's mine. Hopefully we can help out in that and help somebody in need in the soccer community when they need it most.
I do have one last minute here. There was a signing this week that I do think is extremely important for that here, and I think everybody should encourage these kind of signings. It sucks that we have to do these, but through here, Greenville Triumph signs a local youth player to a one-match contract through Make-A-Wish contract here. This was January 15th. The Greenville Triumph Soccer Club announced today the club has signed a 7-year-old forward, Camden, to a one-match contract, fulfilling his wish to become a professional soccer player for the Triumph through Make-A-Wish, South Carolina. Flanked by Triumph head coach Rick Wright and USL senior vice president Lee O'Neill. Camden signed his contract at a press conference there in Greenville. We couldn't be more excited to fulfill Camden's wish and sign him to a contract with the Triumph. Camden's positive energy, drive, and ability to overcome adversity are important qualities that we look for in our players, and will serve him well on and off the field for years to come. Basically, he'll participate in a media day photo shoot with the team in February before practicing and making his professional debut in the Triumph's home match at Palladium Stadium on Saturday, March 29th against Spokane Velocity. The team will warm up for that match in custom jerseys signed or designed by Camden, which will be auctioned off following that match for that here. So to me, like I said, it sucks that it's a 7-year-old that has to go, that's probably exposed to some sort of major illness here. But it's awesome to see Greenville stepping up and signing, and obviously with Spokane and the league getting behind it as well, to let this young man be able to play professional soccer, even if it's one game, is awesome to see. But like I said, congrats to Greenville, congrats to Camden on his contract here, and speedy recovery with whatever that you're dealing with through Make-A-Wish contract. But
that's awesome.
Will end it with us. Like I said here, I know Royce came back with kind of a downer. This one's kind of a still kind of a downer, but a little bit more positive for that here, where where we see the best in that soccer does provide in the communities for that here. And like I said, I know just it's for 90 minutes, we'll complain and bitch and moan at the referees, the other team along those lines, opposing fans. But we're all united in hoping that everybody stays healthy, everybody's positive, and no offense, that we contribute to our local communities.
Yeah, and also speaking of 90 minutes, we're officially in added extra time on this show. So let's
What's
wrap it
without
up.
goals? Come on.
What's life without goals?